Well, you guys, today we're taking a look at how to create a Hyper-V virtual machine with PowerShell. So first off, let's do a search for PowerShell and then run this as administrator. Once this is open, say yes to the user account control, and you will then see a PowerShell window with administrator privileges. Now we need to enable the actual Windows option feature to turn on Hyper-V, and you can type out this command right here. And basically what you can do is once you type this out, it's going to enable that Hyper-V and all of the features that it has available to us. You will need to restart your PC once it's finished, but before we restart, I just want to quickly download an ISO file to create an install for us. So we're going to be using Kali Linux. You can use whatever you want, Windows, whatever it is you may want to install on your Hyper-V virtual machine. Now, of course, this can all be done inside the Hyper-V panel if you want to, and open that up and configure it there, but this is doing it via PowerShell. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to let this finish, and then when this is finished, we're going to restart the PC and we'll come back and configure it. Now, before I restart, I'm going to quickly download Kali Linux, and you can download whatever you want here. So I'm going to go ahead and download this ISO because it's quite small and I'm on a virtual machine myself already. So I'm going to go ahead and download that ISO and we can then restart the PC. So that's now downloaded. I'm just going to quickly restart the PC. So let's go ahead and restart the system. And again, I'm doing this inside VMware, and we're going to be installing Hyper-V inside VMware. It doesn't really play well together with VMware, so you really want to do this on an actual computer itself if you're going to be following along, rather than doing it on a virtual machine inside a virtual machine with two different platforms like VMware and Hyper-V. But let's go ahead and restart this. And once this is done, we should be back at the desktop. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create I've got a separate partition here. And what I want to do is I want to put all of my virtual machines on that separate partition. So let's go ahead and go to this PC. And here you can see I have one called VM, and make sure it's big enough to have all of your virtual machines. So inside here, I'm going to put a folder in here for the ISO that we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and put a folder, and I'm going to call this ISO. And that should be good enough. And inside here, I'm going to be putting the ISO that I just downloaded. This could be whatever you wanted to install on your virtual machine. So let me copy and paste this in, or cut and paste it into that folder. And we should be pretty much good to go now. Okay, so what we need to do now that we've got our ISO and our partition created here, we're going to need to open up our PowerShell again, and we're going to be doing it from PowerShell. Now, we should have already Hyper-V all enabled because we enabled that previously, but now we need to create our new virtual machine. So the name of the VM is going to be called Kali Linux. We're also going to give it some memory, and the memory we've given it is 4 gigabytes. We've specified the directory path for our VM where it's going to be stored, and then we also created and connected our new dynamic VHD for our virtual machine. The size of our VHD, which is our storage, is going to be 15 gigabytes, and we're using generation 2, and they're our switches we've used. So we're going to push enter here. Now there's quite a few different switches you can use, so check their website for more information on what switches you can use. So if you want to customize yours, you can do. I'll leave a link for the Microsoft's website, which will give you all the information for the switches and stuff like that that you can use when you're setting up Hyper-V. So that is what we've gone for here. Quite a basic setup, nothing too complex or difficult. But what we need to do now is we're going to add a virtual machine or VM DVD drive. It's going to add that, and it's going to call it Kali Linux, and the path is to that ISO folder that I've just created on our E drive, ISO folder, and the name of the ISO, which is right there. It all has to be exactly what it is inside that folder, otherwise it's not going to find it. You can see it right here, and that's the actual ISO we're going to be using. You can already see the VM folder that's been created previously, and this is where all of our virtual machine is going to be stored into that directory right there. Very simple and easy to do. So push enter right here, and we should get some success once we push enter, and you'll see it right there. There we go. Now, like I said before, there's quite a few different switches you can add, and you can add that to the front command if you wanted to, or you can just add them in later on like this. And I'll add a network drive in right here. You can see new VM switch, and the switch name is going to be called internal, and that's what we've got it here. Internal switch type will be called internal. So push enter, and that will set that up for us. Again, you can set it up to whatever you like, but you can see now we have our new network adapter interface description called internal. That's what we've just set up here. The next step we can do here is to modify our boot order so our virtual machine can boot using the mounted ISO that we've just set up here. So that's what we need to do next. So now we need to configure our set firmware cmdlet to change the boot order for our VM. And that's what we need to do here. Now, you're going to need to customize yours for whatever you're booting to or whatever you're trying to boot from. So you can see here we've got set VM firmware, and we've also got the VMware name, which is called Kali Linux. The boot order is to get a VM DVD drive, and also the name is Kali Linux again because we're using Kali Linux. And again, we're going to get the VM hard disk drive right here, and that's called Kali Linux as well. And we're going to get the VM network adapter and a VM name Kali Linux again, and we can push enter here, and that should be now set, ready to go. So let's take a quick look at what we've done already inside of our partition that we've got for our particular virtual machine here and what's been happening. And we can do that by going to this PC, and we can check our folder. So let's go ahead into this PC and go to our VM partition. Inside our VM folder, Kali Linux, and inside here you can see the virtual machines here, and you can see the actual virtual machine name, which is called Kali Linux.vhdx. So that's ready to go. And again, you can do this all from the control panel inside Hyper-V if you wanted to. You don't have to use PowerShell to do this. And you can see here is the Hyper-V manager that allows us to turn this on. And again, you can start it from here if you wanted to, or you can even start it from PowerShell if you wanted to, and it will boot from there because we've configured it to boot from the actual PowerShell. So to do that, you'd need to obviously put a command in, and I'll quickly show you that command. Now, I'm already in a VMware workstation right here, and I'm running Hyper-V, and that, like I said before, they don't play well together. But if I was on a real machine and I had Hyper-V, I could then type this command right here, push enter, and it will then start our VM. And that's it. You would start that, it will boot to that ISO file that we configured, and it will boot up to Kali Linux ISO, and you can go ahead and install it from there as you would normally install Kali Linux. So very simple and easy to do and set up. And again, like I said, you can do all this in Hyper-V Manager. You don't have to do this via the PowerShell, but some people like to learn new things. And after all, that's what this channel is about. It's tutorials and how to do things, and that's basically how you can do it. And you can see here, I can click Start Now, and this will run, and it would run the ISO file, and it will start to allow us to boot to it and set it all up. I'm not going to go through the installation process. That would be another video on installing Kali Linux. I think I've already made a video on that. So anyway, if you want to see any more stuff like this, then let me know in the comment section down below, or give me some video requests in the comment section or on my Discord server, which is a new Discord server. You can check the link in the video description. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. A quick shout out to all my YouTube members who join my YouTube members group. I appreciate the support, and I shall catch you in the next video. Bye for now.